This is Melissa Dykes reporting for the Daily Sheeple. As the death throes of the Obama administration kick into full swing, we're hearing a cartoonishly propagandized rewriting of his presidential history coming out of him and his administration, akin to sprinkling laxatives on top of the 8 years of bullshit we've already endured prior to it. In other words, in these last few weeks of his last presidential term, Obama is proving that his true legacy is nothing but lies. Here are 5 whoppers they've told just in the last few weeks. I say last few weeks because if I made a list of Obama administration lies without a specific and short time constraint, we'd be here until Michelle runs in 2020. Number 1 left people wondering how White House Press Secretary Josh Earnest was even able to make this statement without his head bursting into flames on live TV.
Given the fact that President Obama has been the most transparent president in American history, and given the fact that he has not gotten much, if any, credit for that from journalists.
Obama the most transparent, yeah. And he didn't even burst into the kind of laughter that typically results in a snort laugh. I mean, as Western journalism's Patrick Brown pointed out, the president who campaigned for a more open government and full disclosure will not unseal his medical records, his school records, his birth records, his passport records. He won't release his Harvard records, his Columbia College records, his Occidental College records. He won't even release his Columbia College thesis. All his legislative records from the Illinois State Senate are missing, and he claims his scheduling records during those state Senate years are lost as well. Gee. In addition, no one could seem to find his school records for the elite K-12 college prep school that he attended in Hawaii, so really, we don't know anything about him at all.
President Obama has been the most transparent president in American history.
Saying Obama is the most transparent president ever is like saying Bill Clinton is the most virginal president ever.
It depends upon what the meaning of the word is.
Yeah.
Number 2, speaking of Earnest, try to figure this one out.
We're talking about the president and the economy and having created 900,000 manufacturing jobs. We're doing some number crunching, and it seems to be a little bit higher than that which we've come up with. Can you sort of help me square the difference? I think we came in around 807 or something.
Yeah, I think what I said was nearly 900,000. I did overshoot the mark a little bit. I was just working off of memory. I didn't have the numbers in front of me.
Oh, really? He just overshot the numbers there a little. Just a little fudging of the figures, accidentally, stuff like that. Try by about all of it. In the wrong direction, because according to the Bureau of Labor Statistics, the U.S. has actually lost 301,000 manufacturing jobs since Obama took office in 2009. Number 3 is one of those repeating a lie long enough that you just hope it comes true type of deals. As you probably heard, Obama has been claiming for weeks now that Russia hacked our election.
Based on uniform intelligence assessments, the Russians were responsible for hacking the DNC.
You know what? I'm just going to let Glenn Greenwald do this one.
These are assertions that are being made completely unaccompanied by any evidence whatsoever, let alone evidence that we can touch and rationally review. There's all kinds of reasons to suspect the CIA statements, including the fact that they're wrong all the time. They're programmed in a lot of cases to disseminate disinformation, and there's lots of reasons to view them as political actors. And so I think we ought to be highly skeptical.
Number 4, in what Breitbart has referred to as a, quote, bizarre scheme to hypnotize America into forgetting, check out this clip which illustrates why White House advisor Valerie Jarrett is making the big bucks.
The president prides himself on the fact that his administration hasn't had a scandal and that he hasn't done anything to embarrass himself.
No scandal, she said. Obama has had no scandal and never embarrassed himself. So if they kept him in a cave on the moon this whole time without any television or internet access, I'm just wondering how they got him to actually believe that he's never had a scandal or embarrassed himself. So I guess the $1 trillion stimulus, Solyndra, Operation Fast and Furious, Benghazi, the IRS targeting scandal, the Snowden revelations on NSA spying and surveillance, the disaster that was Obamacare and its $2 billion most expensive piece of crap website to ever exist in the history of mankind, plus the Iran deal and the VA death list scandal, just to name a few, never really happened, right? Does that magical bag of bullshit come with a free pony, or... And also, I just want to point out for the record, this right here is so embarrassing, I get secondhand embarrassment just from watching it. Number 5, finally, this last one could be all 5 by itself, actually. What you're about to see, it's the Obama's last Christmas address from the White House, wherein I feel like they've taken being completely full of shit to a whole new level never before seen in the history of time.
Merry Christmas, everybody. One of the best parts of the holiday season is spending time with the special people in your life. And for me, that means getting some help from my best friend, for our annual Christmas weekly address.
I was actually amazed.
Now, given how our first Christmas weekly address went, I realized that Barack needed all the help he could get.
Really, I didn't even realize two people could be so utterly full of bullshit without spontaneously combusting or imploding under the sheer weight of it.
Together we fought our way back from the worst recession in 80 years and got unemployment to a 9-year low. We secured health insurance for another 20 million Americans and new protections for folks who already had insurance. We made America more respected around the world, took on the mantle of leadership in the fight to protect this planet for our kids, and much, much more.
As Gateway Pundit so eloquently put it, under Obama, more than 94 million Americans are out of work. It's the highest level ever in American history. Food stamps are an all-time high. Obama's GDP growth rate is the 4th lowest of more than 40 presidents in American history, and the worst in nearly a century. American home ownership is the lowest in nearly 50 years, and the U.S. federal debt has never been higher ever, with Obama nearly doubling the amount from all the prior presidents combined to $20 trillion. And I'm not even going to get started on how unaffordable Obamacare has made health insurance for the majority of the middle class like myself who make a decent living but wouldn't be able to pay their rent or buy food if they paid for Obamacare, which is how the IRS is allowed to continue bilking Americans like me out of thousands of dollars in bullshit shared responsibility payments for nothing at all because we live in a country where our government wanted to federalize health insurance. They decided the way to do it would be to create a bullshit phony system like Obamacare to purposefully implode the health insurance industry, make money on the way up and down, before ultimately going ahead anyway and forcing us all into single payer, which was always the plan to begin with, just like the lying fascist vultures that they all are. And by the way, him saying this,
We made America more respected around the world.
it's just so much silly bullshit it physically makes my ears tingle in a strangely painful way that, well, if I had health insurance, I might go see a medical professional about it.